Listen to your favorite shows live and on demand 24/7. Download the 77 WABC mobile app now.
Chicken tacos should only be trusted to chicken professionals.
That's where we come in. Introducing Zaxby's new chicken finger tacos. One comes with pico de gallo and creamy chipotle ranch. And the other comes with bacon, lettuce, tomato, and avocado ranch. Chicken experts since 1990. Chicken taco experts since now. Order yours today in the Zax Rewards app. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
We got John McLaughlin on.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's bring in John
continue
McLaughlin.
this after McLaughlin.
Yes.
Let's find out where the heck are we? Are we 10 points behind or 10 points ahead?
Well, we just put out a new national. We put out a new national poll that we took this month, and what's amazing is we put one out the day before the debate back in June on June 26th. And at the time, we had Trump leading Biden in the national popular vote, 46-44. Close, but he was up 2 points. And think about the past month. You know, Trump won that debate hands down. He was great on the issues. He knew what he was doing. And it sparked, okay, Biden's got to withdraw. The Democrats were in a panic. And then, you know, I heard you talking about earlier this morning. Then, by the grace of God, I still have a candidate that President Trump survived the assassin's bullet. And that happened, and then the Republicans had the convention in Milwaukee. It was a great convention, real unifier. The party came out totally united. And then what happens, Biden withdraws, and on the same day he endorses Kamala Harris. And after all these historic twists and turns over the last month, we get this poll this week, a couple days ago, and I've got Trump leading Harris 47-45. +2. And so, in spite of everything that's happened in the last month, Trump's still leading. Now, it's not just
Camelot hasn't arose?
By the way, she's where Biden was before he blew the debate. And it's a close election, and it's I was listening to you talking about Roger Stone, and he understands Donald Trump as well as anyone. It's going to be a close election from now for the next 95 days. And Trump is winning. By the way, this is a lot better place than I was in 2016 or 2020 when I was working for President Trump. And we were losing the national popular vote, but we were arguing we could win an electoral college victory in both races, which we did by 78,000 votes out of 139 million in 2016. And we barely lost in 2020 by 44,000 votes in 3 states. 11,000 in Arizona, Georgia, and 20,000 in Wisconsin. Otherwise, Trump would have still been president. This time, we're leading in the national.
44,000 votes. Those are the states that had a lot of mail-in ballots.
Exactly.
Oh, Georgia, they had the drop boxes. They were having. I mean, it was unbelievable. Zuckerberg had those.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to say the election was stolen, right?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, they were ballot harvesting, and what's different is
otherwise, you know what's going to happen? We're going to have that song play.
Yeah.
You know the Curtis song?
Yeah.
They're coming to take me away. They're coming to take me away.
Now, John, you mentioned ballot harvesting. It's still legal in about 11 or 12 states. Could you explain to people what ballot harvesting is? Because when it's explained, you say they can't possibly allow that.
Well, let me go back to Georgia, because the late speaker who I worked for there, Speaker Ralston, he passed away after the 22 election. He had cancer. Before that, he changed their election law to require voter ID for in-person voting on Election Day, early in-person voting, and absentee ballots. So everybody has to have voter ID, unlike New York State, where you just walk in, the old lady waves you, and you sign some electronic thing. They don't even care who you are. In Georgia, everybody has to know. So the difference is, in 2020, they had drop boxes where people could go apply for absentees, get the absentees, and they would drop off 20, 30, 50 ballots in drop boxes that were all in Democrat areas, or mostly in Democrat areas. And there was no checking of valid ID, et cetera. Now the drop boxes are secure. And what happened is, between 20 and 22, the number of absentee ballots, which were 1 million in 2020, in a state we lost by 11,000 votes, dropped to 250,000 in 2022. Nobody complained in 2022 that Brian Kemp and the Republicans had, rigged the election. Stacey Abrams had nothing to complain about. When Herschel Walker lost, nobody complained about Herschel Walker losing other than losing the election. But it was an honest and fair election in 2020, there were all these issues that were caused by the drop boxes and the ballot harvesting, where all of a sudden, like you, Curtis Lee, where you would go out, you'd find people that might be on the rolls, might not be on the rolls. You get the absentee ballot, you fill it in, you drop it in a drop box. Once the paper's in there, you can't get it out. You don't know who it is, so it's too late. Then there was no voter ID on those things. So now George has changed that. So we need to make sure that you have an honest and fair election. But right now, it looks like a close election. President Trump's leading. He's leading in the battleground states. And by the way, it's not just my polls. Like you, John, you have Mark Penn on your show a lot every now and then. His Harvard-Harris poll has Trump up 4. Rasmussen Reports has Trump up 5. There are some other polls like The Economist YouGov. They have Harris up 2 points. But that poll is 38% Democrat and only 28% Republican.
So you're 10 points behind already.
Yeah.
Right. So in the exit polls in 2020, out of the 160 million voted, Republicans were 36%. So they're lowballing the Republicans to have her up by 2. Because in that same poll, Trump was getting 93% of the Republicans. So if instead of, like in 2016, Republicans were 33% of the exit poll turnout. 2020, it was 36%. If now we're 28%, and we've been over 30% of the vote in this every election this century. So if you underpoll Republicans, you're underpolling Trump voters, and then you can put her ahead. But she does have a lot of media momentum. In the poll that we just released, her net favorables went up 8 points because she's getting glowing coverage from a lot of the media that before that they never wanted to see her as president. But when, Biden endorsed her against Trump, so in our June poll, Harris had a 40 favorable, 54 unfavorable. She's now 45 favorable, 51 unfavorable, still net negative by 6, but it closed by 8 points because the Democrats are rallying to her, and she was picking up with African American voters. Like last month, Trump was winning. He was winning 28% of the black vote. It's dropped to 18%. And Hispanics, we were winning 42%, it dropped to 37%. But the white voters, where we were winning with Trump 51-40, it's now 56-38. And in rural areas, Trump's lead went from 52-38 to 62-33, a 29-point lead. So, there may be a J.D. Vance effect here where the hillbilly vote's going up. It's like,
now question,
rural
John.
areas, yeah.
President Trump is involved in this. Is she Indian? Is she black? I don't think that helps his campaign because people, it's coins in the pocket. It's what's happening at the border. Just listen to average people. Yeah. They don't care if she's Indian, black, a combination of the two. Why do you think this has become a focus?
Janine Pirro here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/Pirro for your free Janine Pirro Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit or call 800-965-8004. 800-965-8004 now to receive a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.
Well, I think he went into that journalist, known the African American journalist, because he was going into a group that would be pro Kamala Harris, and she wasn't going. Now, I wouldn't get into those discussions as much as like when he went to the Bronx and he gave a very uplifting speech talking about inflation and crime and talking about how to help the average working person. He gave a great speech in Cortona Park.
He did.
That's what he should have done there. And that's what he meant to do, and he was willing to talk about the issues like that, but they got derailed. But then yesterday, the whole news narrative changed because you've got this Olympic female boxer who is a guy who beats down the poor woman, and that's all the news yesterday. And President Trump's like, this is wrong, this shouldn't happen, and he's in the news cycle talking about that. But Kamala Harris ducks that. She's very smart. Her people that are handling her, it's not just the Biden people. She's bringing in the Obama people. She's bringing in David Axelrod's old firm. She's talking to David Plouffe, who was Obama's campaign manager, and Jim Messina. She's got a smart crew that they elected Obama, and they know they want to build a character that she's not. And they don't want her to be exposed to hostile media, so that's why she even skipped the black journalists.
So does this mean, John, she's going to denounce drag queen reading hour at a library near you? Because she was a proponent of that, a supporter of that.
No, she didn't. By the way, yesterday, because of her position on gender ideology and stuff, she did not respond to when President Trump said that was wrong, that the male boxer beat up the female. She stayed out of that. She was not, she was ducking that. So she may get. There may be a basement strategy for her where, President Trump, he goes into all sorts of forums. He holds the rallies and stuff. She held a rally with some singer that, the Stallion or whatever. But President Trump will go out there. He's going to do a rally in Atlanta tomorrow. And, he did one in Harrisburg the other day. He did last weekend. He was up, he was in Minnesota. And when he's on message, there's no one better. And the Harris campaign, they're going to try to duck, and they're going to try to take President Trump off message. And we know that.
How big of how many people did she have in Atlanta a couple of nights ago?
I don't know exactly. I don't know. It's but I heard after this that after the singer stopped, a lot of people were leaving. So it's like, I don't know. Trump doesn't have any. The rallies are all about him.
John, I think he's got to go back to the outdoor rallies where the crowds are so humongous. You say, I've never seen anything like this before, like Wildwood, 100,000. Yeah. Security, top notch. There were drones, helicopters, Checkpoint Charlie. The MAGA people cleaned up the beach. There wasn't a scrap of paper on the beach once they left. No problems. After Butler County and what happened in that cow field, I got to tell you, I've never been a big Trumper, but I worry that they're going to try to take out Trump. I really worry about that.
They're going to blame it on the Iranians. My red phone is ringing, guys. You guys continue. I'll be back.
Well, you've got George there, who's more of an expert. But
George and Curtis, you guys got to go at it.
Yeah.
So, John, appreciate your update on the polls. And obviously, you've been there when the polls are good for Trump, and you've been there when the polls have not been good for Trump. So at least you give us the square deal.
Yeah, we just got to keep working hard like we're the underdog, like we're behind all the time.
Wait. Absolutely. She's the underdog. She said she's the underdog.
We've got a lot against us. So thank you very much.
You got it. Thank you, John McLaughlin.
Janine Pirro here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history. Physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/Pirro for your free Janine Pirro Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit, or call 800-965-8004. 800-965-8004 now to receive a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.